Hello, and welcome to the African American Resource Center and the Tulsa City County Library's Research Center's program, The Spirit of Black Wall Street, featuring business resources available for entrepreneurs. African American are growing in number in our country, and we are so pleased that in the spirit of Black Wall Street, we have two special guests tonight, entrepreneurs who are in the Black Wall Street area. I am particularly pleased to introduce Nick Abrahamson, our TCCL reference librarian. I am Alicia Latimer, coordinator of the African American Resource Center. And so, hello, Nick. We're so glad you could join us. And we're going to ask Nick to go ahead and introduce our guest.
Thanks, Alicia. Welcome to this evening's program. I want to introduce TJ Woodbury and Venita Cooper and offer my gratitude for joining us. Venita Cooper is a owner of Silhouette Shoes on North Greenwood. On Instagram, it's Silhouette Tulsa. If you're a sneakerhead, go ahead and follow them. And then TJ Woodbury is the owner of Poppi Salon across the street from the Box Yard downtown, and Poppi's is Tulsa Poppi on Instagram, so give them a follow as well. We're going to speak with them about a little bit about their experience and insights being African-American entrepreneurs in Tulsa, any funding opportunities they may have availed themselves to, and again, kind of their experience with putting together a business plan and seeking funding and issues of that sort. So I guess we will go ahead and get started. I'm going to also talk about some of the resources that TCCL offers for aspiring entrepreneurs. We offer business resources for just about every at any point in the business journey. If you're just starting, if you're looking to expand your customer base, if you're looking for marketing opportunities, if you need assistance with diagnostics and supply chain identification, we help every step of the way, but we're especially proud and work hard to help entrepreneurs and aspiring business owners develop a business plan and meet their business goals of opening a business. So I will go ahead and start. We're just going to be pretty casual. We'll be talking to Venita and TJ as I go through our resources that the TCCL offers, and then a special opportunity for funding for minorities, African Americans, and persons living in distressed communities. Like I said, we're going to start by offering some resources, how TCCL can help small businesses. This is a roadmap I put together. It kind of gives you a kind of a general idea of what's ahead of you when you're putting together a business plan, or when you're kind of brainstorming an idea for a business. You're going to need to develop a business concept and then draft a business plan. I put that at the step number one, but drafting a business plan is much more involved than just one step. That's kind of a process unto itself. But from there, you're going to select a business structure. Then you're going to register your business with the state of Oklahoma. Obtain any licensing permits and certifications. And then if you need an EIN, that's an employer identification number from the IRS. And then if you're in a special industry that requires other regulating permits, such as environmental, or if you need food service licensing, things like that, then that's on number 6. And this is the user manual to the roadmap, and it's just kind of an FAQ, different commonly asked questions that we receive at the library, and some quick and easy resources that you can access to help answer those questions. So like I said, the library is especially adept at helping new businesses, identifying their target market, business plan creation, then with existing businesses, expand their customer base, discovering new supply chains. And we also help investments and investors here at the Research Center as well, with different newsletters and investment tools in our collection. So first, I'm going to talk about a business plan real quick. A business plan is your roadmap for success. It's also integral in securing funding from the SBA or other lending institutions. Now, I realize that every business kind of has their own journey. So opening their doors, no two businesses are monolithic. But this is the general step-by-step procedure in obtaining funding is putting together a business plan and then pitching it to an investor.
I wonder, ladies, Venita and TJ, if your initial journey into becoming entrepreneurs, could each of you just take a moment and share what prompted you and helped you on your journey, something that most prompted and helped you on your journey to becoming entrepreneurs? We'll start with Venita. Venita, you want to start?
I was pointing to TJ.
Oh.
I didn't even see you, my friend. I was like, is Venita even here?
Now, how you guys doing tonight? Yeah, no, I can talk a little bit about it. Really, it was such a whirlwind. It all happened very quickly, from idea to conception. I had the idea to open Silhouette Sneakers and Art around December 2018. And at the time I was an educator, wrapping up my 10th year in education. And that's what brought me to Tulsa, actually, is that I was pursuing a path to be a school leader. And I don't know, I guess I just reached that point in my career where I wanted to do something different and, you know, loved sneakers, just loved the culture, and was, you know, looking through my phone, you know, during the holidays, searching online for some sneakers and lamenting the fact that we didn't have anywhere in Tulsa where I could, you know, find some of these sneakers. And one of my friends was like, why don't you open, you know, your own sneaker store? And I was like, what? That's crazy talk. Like I'd never worked in a sneaker store, you know, I was obviously had never owned a business. And, you know, I'd always kind of grown up thinking like, oh, you know, you got to get an MBA or you got to, you know, have a certain kind of background in order to start a business. Turns out I was wrong, thankfully. But you know, Tulsa is one of those places I learned pretty quickly where, you know, the ball gets moving fast on ideas that resonate with people. And so, you know, I spoke with, I think Kojo Asamoah Caesar was one of the first people I spoke with. You know, he recently ran for Congress, and he was like, oh, you got to meet my friend Brandon Oldham. He's a huge sneakerhead. And I didn't know Brandon at the time. Now he's one of my best friends. But, you know, Kojo actually never introduced me and Brandon. Brandon and I just kind of like ran into each other because we were both wearing Yeezys at an event. We were like, whoa, who's this person wearing Yeezys? And, you know, talked to Brandon. And if you know Brandon, who works for GKFF and just is a man about town, you know, Brandon is connected to everybody. And so, you know, and you know, what I learned is that the sneaker culture, there is sneaker culture in Tulsa. There was even before Silhouette. It's just more hidden, you know, it's just like more like private networks versus like open public spaces where people come together. And Brandon was a part of the private networks, you know, one of the city councilors, Phil Lakin, huge sneakerhead. Brandon introduced me to him. My future landlord, Kajir Yar, his kids are huge sneakerheads. And so as I'm like sharing all these ideas, I just get connected to this, you know, this other person who can, you know, influence the trajectory of this plan in a certain direction. And Rose Washington was an incredibly important person that I got introduced to, head of TEDC. And Rose let me know about this joint class that TEDC was doing with Route 66. I don't know what it's called actually, some Route 66 organization. to try to target certain people to, start businesses. And Onika Asamo Caesar, the owner of Fulton Street, she ended up being in this class as a 3-week business planning class. And it was my kind of class, because it basically was like, here are the resources. This is what the resources mean. Here's a template. Now go and, put your business plan into it. And that's exactly how I like to do things. And so I took that, ran with it. At the end of the class, TDC said, hey, if you can, build out your plan, here's our application, submit your plan and this application to us for funding of your business. And so that ultimately happened, where they fully funded my business. But between the class and the funding of my business, there was another opportunity with Black Upstart, which was piloting a program here in Tulsa. And that's another, business planning class with the intent of leading to funding for business ideas. And Lobeck Taylor and LSU were in, X year of the Tulsa Startup Series, and I entered that series and ended up winning that pitch contest. So there were just all these funding opportunities that lined up. There was so much enthusiasm, momentum from day one. And everything kind of fell into place.
As a new entrepreneur, someone new to the scene that you're talking about, you said you referred, there is a reference to sneakerheads. Tell us.
Alicia, you're killing me. Why you gotta say it like that? Sneakerheads.
The sneakerheads know what sneakerheads are.
Obviously not a sneakerhead.
Yeah. See,
Yes,
you don't need to, if you're not a sneakerhead, you don't need to know what the word means.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's just going to be awkward if you use it in public.
Sneakerhead too. You need to know how to start your own sneaker business. So there's some
Alicia,
you said TEDC, I think you said some people may not.
TEDC, Tulsa Economic Development Corporation. And, I don't know, Tulsa's in a place right now and as a community where things are moving so fast and organizations really evolve to meet different needs. And TEDC, which is led by Rose Washington, which I think partners with GKFF and the city, they did have that class. I think they're, working on a different class. They always have some sort of class, they work towards cultivating people to build out their plans so that they're ready for funding. And I mean, that's the hardest part, right? That's why you guys wanted us to talk about it, is getting the funding for an idea. But, I'm evidence that really anybody can do it. What really inspired me is reading this book, Shoe Dog, by Phil Knight, who's the former CEO of Nike and the founder of Nike. And I read this book. It's his memoir about the early days of Nike, which originally was called Blue Ribbon. He started off selling Japanese-made sneakers in the US. And dude didn't know what he was doing. He just kind of worked through problems, and he just kind of let his passion guide him. And he had like a really grand vision for what he wanted to achieve. So even though there was all this evidence that maybe like he wasn't supposed to be doing this thing, like there were going to be all these hurdles for him, he still did it. And I read it and I was like, I can do this. I don't know about building Nike, but like, I can start a business if this guy can start a business. So I just think it's a special place right now. I don't know if what happened with Silhouette would happen in LA the way that it did. I just think Tulsa is hungry for different entrepreneurship ideas.
Okay, so GKKF is the George Kaiser Family Foundation. GK.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, there's just people who are new, maybe young, and don't know some of the terminology that you're using. TJ, tell us your
Yeah,
your
definitely. And I want to say thank you to Venita because I appreciate you telling your story. I didn't know that about your story, and it's just so inspiring. So for me personally, I feel like I always knew I was going to be an entrepreneur. Um, I had my first business when I was 12 years old. My brother and I were breaking leaves and like we're outside hustling. We never had allowances, so anything that we needed or wanted, or I shouldn't say needed, my basic needs were met, but anything that we wanted, I had to go out and earn it. And so for me, I've had a couple of different businesses, and I knew that I wanted to get into this space, this self-care space, just based off of my own passion, my own personal experience with mental health and mental well-being. And so that was something that I really wanted to focus on. And because I'm a builder, that's what I wanted to focus my attention on. So.
when you were looking for funding.
Yeah, so my funding is a little bit different. So when I started looking for funding, I went to my bank, and my project was really it was a really expensive build out, and so it was a really capital intensive ask. So when I went to my bank, I didn't find any success with my bank. And so thankfully, I was able to leverage the success that I've had with my previous businesses to for my seed capital. So it's my little funding journey.
Funding, your success, your funding journey. Both of you, of course, that would be paramount to anyone starting a new business. So Nick, when we go back and look at your small business reference center, you were talking about having a business plan. So can you tell us a little bit about
Sure. So
what you have on the screen? We'll go back and come back to the ladies again.
Absolutely. And I will, eventually we're going to come up and talk about the TEDC. I have that, some information there for us as well. But yeah, putting together a business plan, the library has two primary resources available to our customers that assist with that. This is the interface of the Small Business Reference Center. It's found on our research page under databases. This is really good. This is optimal for aspiring entrepreneurs that don't have a ton of experience with business concepts, with break-even analyses or cash flow statements or things, some of those more specialized accounting type scenarios that you often have to pitch to investors, that you have, that your base is covered. But this database, Small Business Reference Center, it offers templates, and then it offers example plans. So you can look at plans, see what other people have done, see what other businesses had success doing, pitching their ideas and kind of how they formatted their business plan, just kind of getting a good idea of what it looks like. And then, like I said, it also has templates where you can kind of just plug in your information and your numbers. It's also really good. It also has an advantage of providing worksheets and templates, as I mentioned. These documents right here, these Excel forms, they already have the preloaded formula in there. You can just put in your numbers and then they'll be crunched for you. These can be downloaded free. Everything's free. And this, again, this is optimal for maybe people that don't have as much experience with accounting principles, but it's great for addressing a variety of topics. It has a variety of modules that users can use. And then it also has different media for users with divergent learning styles. So if you learn better watching videos or or listening to audio or reading articles. It has a bit of everything. Our next, the other resource we have for business plan creation is the Small Business Reference Center. Oh, I'm sorry. This is still the Small Business Reference Center. The ideal user base is any user looking for a vast array of information and toolkits for private sector business use. And then again, like I mentioned, first-time entrepreneurs or users requiring guided business plan development. This is going to be the resource that you want to use as opposed to what we're going to look at next. Next, we're going to look at this Gale Small Business Builder. This is a much more robust database. It kind of presupposes that the person using it already has quite a few business concepts and principles in their tool bag and in their background, so to speak. So it'll walk you. I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
This is an electronic something that you only can get.
This is a
library, or
yeah,
is this available online? How does one access it?
It's available through the library, through our website, but it can be accessed remotely. So from your home or office, you don't have to be in a library to access it. You just need your library card handy. It's on the research page under databases. This will be under G for Gale Small Business Builder. It's also on the, we also have a business resource page where you can find this information. But yeah, this is an electronic resource. You can go to Gale Small Business Builder, but we subscribe to this and make it available to our customers. So if you just Google Gale Small Business Builder, you'll probably be prompted to pay for it. But through the library portal, it's all free. So this is great for aspiring entrepreneurs who have already begun brainstorming the logistics of their business. Aspiring entrepreneurs that are probably a little bit more savvy with accounting and management principles. And then users who have experience putting together plans and proposals, but may need help with the organization and formatting for the final document.
Ladies, did you, Venita and TJ, did you all utilize any of these types of tools when you were first starting out? Or are there some of these that you could recommend for someone, something that was most helpful for you as a new person on your own, trying to figure it all out?
Yeah, for me, I've utilized the resources at TEDC. They have a bunch of really awesome resources, but also SCORE has some really great resources and tools for research, for initial research. So those are the two that I've used.
Venita?
Yeah, I got resources through that class, through both Black Upstart and the TEDC Route 66 business planning course. Most of it was offline, but they did actually connect us with some library resources. I remember one thing that I had looked up, man, it feels like forever ago. One thing that I looked up was when I was trying to project my financials, you know, I think the library had a resource where I could look up, you know, some version of financials for different companies and industries, so that I could kind of compare. And so that was really helpful because for me, the financials was the hardest thing for me to project. I also wanted to add back to the funding thing. I, wanted to shout out my landlord. I told you guys, Kajir Yar. This space that I'm in Greenwood is owned by Green Arch and the Hilly Foundation, and they actually paid for almost my entire build out, which is insane. Like, I think it was like $80,000 that they put towards the build out of my space. And that's not something that, I have to pay back to them. So again, like, just incredible. I think the level of investment that, different stakeholders, different funders have had in my business has been, incredibly helpful.
I think that's absolutely awesome. So how did you become aware of those resources? how would one find out like that? Because is that the norm, or does that normally happen?
I have no idea if it's the norm. You know, it's my only business that I've ever started. I will say that I think having a great relationship with your landlord is super important to the success of a business, a startup, especially as a first-time entrepreneur. And I mean, I couldn't be more grateful. I think part of the reason that there were a variety of reasons why the Hilly Foundation and Green Arch opted to fund my build out. I think a big part of it was a shared vision. You know, I'm not just a tenant for them. They're very strategic about what are the types of things they want in their spaces. And they wanted a sneaker store like mine because they felt like destination retail is the kind of retail that works as brick and mortar. And I also think, you know, it wasn't like it was just they wrote me a blank check and they're like, hey, you know, just do whatever you want to do. There was just a lot of communication between us about, you know, what the space could look like, what it needed to look, what it needed to be like in order to be profitable. So I don't know. A lot of it was, I think, kind of luck of the draw with the landlord, you know?
Okay.
Not helpful for people, I'm sure. They're like, well, lottery.
What about you, TJ?
No, yeah, I totally agree with Venita that, like, especially if you're entering a long-term agreement relationship, landlord tenant, like having a good working relationship with them is pinnacle. My landlord is awesome, and yeah, just having and getting them to fund your build out too. That just speaks to their just to their wanting to support your business and your vision, and that affirmation. It had to be amazing. So
Okay, Nick.
That's great. Yeah. And that's something that I didn't touch on too closely, but yeah, there's the startup consortiums and coalitions. A lot of times those sort of funding opportunities are temporary until their funding runs out, or until they write another grant and can get more funding. But that's another great opportunity to avail yourself to if you're looking to start a business, to look for any kind of lift up from any kind of community coalition or consortium. But going back to this Gale Small Business Builder, it's not ideal for users that are still in the exploratory phase of their business startup. So this is, again, something that you want to look at when you kind of have your ducks in a row, perhaps your pitch or your mission statement already drafted, and then this will help you kind of put together the formatting and the financials. So again, this is just kind of looking at our business plan resources and who will be best served by each one, and then the strengths of each one as well. So Small Business Reference Center, just as a kind of summary, has the formula loaded Excel worksheets, and then they also have templates and business plan examples. The Gale Small Business Builder is a step-by-step business plan creator, and it'll help you with your financial projections as well. And this is just kind of a study that kind of goes to show the utility of a business plan and the importance. This was put out by the Palo Alto Business Plan Survey from 2010. And it, so the dark blue is business plan, light blue is no business plan. And then you can see that the numbers really favor individuals with the business plan. Oops. Sorry, go back a little bit. So I believe Venita brought it up at the Tulsa Economic Development Corporation, TEDC. That's a coalition that receives funding from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development's Community Development Block Grant Program. As a City of Tulsa subrecipient, the U.S. Small Business Administration, it brings together a host of different funders, and then it's just the money is dispersed through the Tulsa Economic Development Corporation. And the TEDC, as Venita said, has really been helping out with small business owners in our community. Over the last 5 years, they've provided over $150 million to help nearly 300 small businesses start, expand, or sustain themselves. I have some information down here, and it's not too necessary to take notes because I'll email this out to whoever wants this at the end of the presentation. Just drop your email in the chat and we will send it on. But the TEDC, they provide small business loans, and those are only available to low to moderate income startup owners. So there is a financial eligibility window there. It's also valuable for projects lacking in sufficient collateral. So first-time entrepreneurs, if you don't have the collateral to put up against a conventional loan from a bank, the TEDC can help with that as well. They also provide what they call microloans. And those are offer technical assistance with different loan programs, and they have some coaching involved as well. So there's user assistance as well as financial assistance with the microloan. And then with intermediary funds from the SBA, the TEDC lends up to $50,000 to small businesses across Oklahoma. A lot of SBA loans have contingencies on how that money can be used, but the TEDC proceeds can be used for just pretty much any business purpose. This is a great resource. I don't know how many people know about this, but there is something called the CDFI, and that's the Community Development Financial Institution Fund. It's through the U.S. Department of Commerce, and they play an important role in generating economic growth and opportunity in some of our nation's most distressed communities. This acts as a financial it's an incentivization for lending institutions to lend money, pretty much. I think it's a great way to reverse engineer where to go for a loan. I'm going to show you a list after this slide of local institutions that have received funding from this larger purse string. And some of the contingencies on that is they have to provide so much money for a community, for startup businesses. So these are some of the banks in northeastern Oklahoma that have received funding through this block grant. And you see over here the amount that each bank has received. These banks, they have to spend this money. They have to disperse this money to small businesses. So when I said it's a good way to reverse engineer where to go for a loan, you can see that the BOK, Bank of Oklahoma Community Development Fund has $35 million that they have to disperse to their community.
Are these when they disperse this money, are they asking for collateral down?
Yeah, it's going to act as a traditional loan. There are going to be contingencies and special exceptions. As I said earlier, no business plan, it's monolithic. So these institutions will work with you, but you do have to have your ducks in a row. You do have to have an organized plan. It has to be coherent. You can't go in there just asking for money. You have to you still have to pitch these institutions.
Okay.
This is some information about the Minority Business Development Agency. This is really impactful for business owners, minority business owners, for access to capital. access to contracts, and access to markets. There are over 11 million minority-owned businesses in the United States, employing more than 6.3 million people. And the MBDA helps finance or helps generate revenue of around $1.8 trillion. And this is another U.S. Department of Commerce subsidiary. It's the only financial federal agency solely dedicated to the growth and global competitiveness of minority business owners. Down here, you can see the website. Like I said, I will email this out, so you don't have to be furiously scribbling notes. You'll have these for your records afterwards.
Ladies, have either of you had any business with the Minority Business Development Agency? Venita or TJ, have you all had any experience, or do you have any knowledge of the Minority Business Development Agency?
I don't. Yeah, I don't have any personal experience with these organizations, but I'm glad to learning about them.
And I have a question. Did you guys avail yourself to any coaching from the SBA or SCORE, kind of just learning management principles and financials, kind of some of the stuff that Venita was talking about earlier?
I really wish I was better at utilizing all of these resources, but no, I haven't.
I did go through SCORE and met with someone here in Tulsa. It didn't feel like a fit for where I was, what I needed at the time, though I do know that they're, a real asset in the community, and, that there's definitely a role for them.
Now, what is SCORE, Nick?
Oh, I forgot the acronym, but it partners with the SBA Small Business Administration, and they provide coaching classes, and they're usually free. A lot of times they're at TCC, but it's a great resource for someone that wants to kind of fulfill a dream that may not have gone to business school or have much experience, but they have a concept, and they have drive, and SCORE kind of provides the coaching and some of this skill sets that some business owners aspiring business owners have yet to kind of acquire on their own.
You know what, Nick? I remember now. I'm talking about this like this was 20 years ago. It was like 2 years ago. But so when I won the first round for the Tulsa Startup Series, part of the award was a 3-month membership at 36 Degrees North, which is a co-working space in Tulsa downtown. And SCORE often used to go, I don't know if they still do, so I'm not a member there anymore, but SCORE used to go and do classes, free classes for people at 36 Degrees North. And I did attend one of those classes where they did give super helpful information. I think it was like someone from SCORE brought in maybe like someone with like a legal background or something, and they just gave a lot of the nuts and bolts of starting a business, the stuff that's really boring for people who are visionaries, but is like super important to the operations of a business.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how long did it take each of you to get your business started? Just coincidentally or incidentally, just each of you would share, how long did it really take you from developing the concept to when you actually had everything you needed to start that business?
For me, from the idea to completion was probably about 2 years. Took me about 6 months just of designing, and it took about 6 months of just like laying out the plan. So it took me about 2 years.
Alicia, you all right? How about you, Venita?
I'm riveted by what's happening with me.
I apologize.
Um, for me, so there are a couple of different stages of it. One was idea. From idea to, okay, now I'm actually going to like do something with this idea. I'm going to start developing this business plan. That was about 4 months. And then from business plan development to my doors are open was probably about probably 5 or 6 months. So when I say it was a whirlwind,
Yeah,
like it was fast.
yeah, that's very fast. Is there anything that are there any missteps along the way that you would advise others to be wary of, or especially in this kind of cobbling it all together process before you open your doors? I mean, I assume that a lot of it was, you're both, well, TJ, you're not a first-time business owner, but fairly new to opening a business in Tulsa. What were some of the challenges that you didn't anticipate?
I can start. I think the biggest challenge for me, and it's kind of hard for me to identify challenges because I'm like such an optimistic person. I know that sounds really weird, but I just, I don't know. Like even the pandemic, when people talk to me about the struggles of the pandemic, certainly there are struggles, but it's really hard for me to talk about those things. Like there were so many highlights from last year. But anyway, I think the hardest thing for me was there were no other sneaker store concepts like mine in Tulsa. And, I just think it's so important to learn from the mistakes of others so that you're not making every single mistake as a first-time entrepreneur. And so not having someone who had, was in the same industry doing the same thing as me kind of limited my ability to have those conversations. And then I didn't go out of my way to like go to Denver or Dallas or, all these bigger cities that have concepts more similar to mine. And, that's something that I definitely should have done. And so, I made mistakes along the way that were costly, but luckily nothing that I couldn't rebound from.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of Coop and like making costly mistakes when you could very easily just tap someone else or seeking out that guidance. That is something that I have not been good at. And so like simple things like what kind of language do I need to look for in this lease agreement, and like how important is it to have additional clauses. And so for me, the mistakes that I made, there are these growing pains, but like just seeking guidance, seeking mentorship, that is to me like the best thing that an entrepreneur or someone who's wanting to start a business can do.
That's great. Yeah, that's a good point with the kind of the legal side of contracting. You might have everything set and ready to go from a planning perspective, but then there's also the intangibles of contracting and leasing a building or leasing a storefront, payroll, insurance. So there's a lot of intangibles that kind of are beyond the business plan that sometimes you just have to tackle along the way.
I also just wanted to add, this isn't exactly an answer to your question, but our education system in the US doesn't really teach us, at least not public education, doesn't really teach us to be entrepreneurs or to, there is so much that like we could spend the rest of our lives learning how to start a business. Like there's so much information there. I think, our education system has taught us to feel failure or to fear failure. And, you only want to get 100% on everything, and hasn't adequately taught us that there are actually rewards to reap from failure. And so, I just hope that the people on this call will take me seriously when I say, like, you are never going to feel completely prepared to start a business. Like, it's just impossible. Certainly there's I think a threshold to get to, but I just think we're so held back by this idea that we must do things with perfection. And I just don't think that that's a reality for an entrepreneur. So getting over that mindset, I guess, is, something.
Yeah, I think the fail big and fail better mantra can be applied for business owners. You're not going to get everything. You're not right on the first try, but looking at peers and looking at resources in your community. And I know TJ and I spoke a little bit about the Greenwood Chamber of Commerce. I don't know if you're part of that or not, Venita, but some of those professional organizations and coalitions can be really helpful for first-time business owners as well.
And informal too, right? Like, I'm not a member of of any chamber, but like TJ and I are friends, and Onika and I are friends, and there are so many young entrepreneurs of color who are doing really cool things in Tulsa. I think that we're the type of place where informal networking is real and very important.
That's a great point. Well, let's look at a couple other resources. These are going to be resources for entrepreneurs from the Small Businesses Association. And I identified 3 different programs or umbrella programs that probably will best suit our participants' needs. First one is the 8A Business Development Program. The goal of this program is to award at least 5% of all federal contracting dollars to small disadvantaged businesses each year. So to be eligible, it has to be you have to be at least 51% owned and controlled by U.S. citizens who are socially and economically disadvantaged. And I understand this isn't minority specific, but these are programs that try to give a lift up to communities that are economically disadvantaged. And then they have a personal net worth of $750,000 or less, with an adjusted gross income of $350,000 or less, and less than $6 million in assets. And then there is an interview, so you will have to kind of pitch yourself and demonstrate good character and potential to perform on contracts. So this helps provide a level playing field for small businesses. This program offers federal contracts to not just the big players, but small businesses and aspiring entrepreneurs as well. And you also get a business opportunity specialist. This will help you navigate federal contracting if you don't know anything about federal contracting. Just by applying for this program, you avail yourself to a business opportunity specialist who can kind of help you navigate the web of contracting opportunities from the federal government. The next one is the 7J Management and Technical Assistance Program. And this is to provide high quality assistance to eligible businesses to help them be competitive for federal, state, and local government contracts. Businesses in this program receive training, executive education, and one-on-one consulting in a wide range of activities. So even though the emphasis is on contracts again, if you apply for this program and are eligible, you can receive training, education, and then consulting, one-on-one consulting opportunities as well. And there are free training and resources from software and financial analysis, provided by reputable consulting firms. To be eligible, you have to be located, your business needs to be located in an area of high unemployment or low income, owned by first-time business owner, low income individual, and certified as an 8A participant, which we just looked at. A hub zone small business or an economically disadvantaged women-owned small business. There's a fact sheet for this there's a link right there. Again, I will send out this PowerPoint to any participant that wants to share their email. And I'll kind of pivot real quickly. I know, Venita, you talked about some of the consortiums and coalitions that you worked with. Did you work with the? Forgive me if I missed this. Did you work with the SBA at all?
No, I think the loan that I got through TEDC was an SBA loan, but I don't think I ever spoke with anyone from SBA.
Okay. How about you, TJ? Do you know if you worked with any SBA officers or received any SBA capital?
Yeah, I did. I know for sure the PPP loan is an SBA program.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I got that. Yeah.
What does PPP mean?
Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of people have heard that term. It is different than PPE. The PPP is the Payroll Protection Program, and that is a program that's provided funding to allow employers to retain their employees on payroll throughout this difficult time. So it's essentially a subsidy program for employees.
And
Is that right?
Yeah. Incidentally, I heard on NPR that there is a renewed focus on getting those PPP loans or PPE loans to small businesses, because I don't know if anyone saw this, but the last round, the Washington Post put together kind of a map of businesses that reap the benefits, and a lot of them were really large businesses with a lot of employees and a lot of revenue. So if you're a small business owner now, or looking to expand your business, and you're not a large corporation that employs more than 100 or 150 individuals, upwards of that, then there is a renewed focus to try to get those loans directly to those businesses.
Well, my understanding is there was an incentive, within that program for banks to try to give out bigger loans because they made more money from them. I also got a PPP loan through Bank of Oklahoma. I got money the first round of the PPP distribution, and they were incredibly helpful. But I do know that I've heard that there are certain banks that are more helpful than others, or were, in terms of making sure that small businesses get those loans.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm just spreading gossip. That's all.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're spreading insight. Is what you're saying.
No, that's been my experience as well, Venita, and that's my experiences. My understanding is that the corporations, the businesses that do have relationships with the banks are the ones that are getting the funding, are getting more funding, they're getting funding easier. And so, yeah, that relationship with the bank is super helpful, so.
I'm kind of nearing the end of my portion of this, but let's keep looking at there's another SBA opportunity called Community Advantage Loans. This is a pilot loan program to meet the credit management and technical assistance needs of small businesses in underserved markets. Businesses in this program receive training, executive education, and one-on-one consulting in a wide range of activities. The mission is to increase access to credit for small businesses located in underserved areas, expand points of access to the SBA 7A loan program by allowing non-traditional mission-oriented lenders to participate, provide management and technical assistance as needed, and then to manage portfolio risks. And one of the reasons that I like to include the loans, the programs, the SBA program loans that I did is because in addition to securing capital, these also help businesses with kind of one-on-one training and consulting opportunities. You can speak with experienced business professionals and consulting firms that can answer a variety of questions from, human resources issues to regulatory compliance. There's a host of unknowns that business owners kind of wade into. And then, earlier Venita was talking about you're never going to be prepared, but it helps to avail yourself to opportunities where you can be a little bit more prepared. Alicia, you're on mute.
If you were going to give advice to someone who was considering opening a business, what would be a big message you would give them regarding the topic that we're discussing, which is what the biggest challenge might be for them as far as their business goes, what their biggest challenges might be?
Are you asking one of us?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
You are, TJ.
I mean, obviously funding is important. So it's kind of like, I just think you got to start networking from the beginning, I think that's the way that Silhouette got off the ground so quickly, is that it really was through conversations with people and them connecting me to other people. And, it's through a lot of these informal networks that we learn about opportunities. It's not always easy, especially for communities of color, for a variety of reasons, to access all of the opportunities that are available to them, to us. And so networking is going to be that much more crucial. I will say, there are people in the city who are really invested in small business owners of color, who want to see entrepreneurs of color, who want to see women, who want to see, people who are underrepresented in entrepreneurship in the city do well. And I think that there are many more opportunities on the horizon. And so, until those things are widely known and available to a lot of people, I think just the networking, really spending time with your numbers and your projections and your business plan, finding a landlord in a location that makes sense, where you have a good relationship with, that's not crazy expensive, keeping your overhead down, it's better to be, I'm just giving a bunch of stuff now. It's better to be, I think, understaffed than overstaffed in the beginning. You want to keep your overhead down. And I think people can forgive that as you're trying to figure out, the volume of business that you're going to do. I just think it's really hard to hire someone and realize that you can't really pay them. Inventory, make sure that you, whatever, if you're in a business that has inventory, pay for the ops, pay for the things that are going to make it easier for you and your staff. Time is definitely money when it comes to running a business. There's never enough time, never ever. You're always going to feel like you're running behind, which is fine because you love what you do. Otherwise, you wouldn't have started this thing. But just recognize that there are investments you can make up front. Don't cut those costs to help your business go along. I tried to get everything so TJ would have nothing to say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to add to that. I mean, but no, seriously, when it comes to funding, though, I 100% agree with Venita that like networking and just coming in contact with the people who are in rooms who can advocate for you, or the people who are actually working in situations where they can help you to get that funding. So networking.
I have a question about marketing. Have you guys done any direct marketing or looked at kind of consumer spending habits in the location of your businesses? And then what's been your approach to promoting your business?
So for us, we enjoy like a really nice retention, and also word of mouth is really big for us. Also, there are some really nice modes of marketing that are free. Instagram, Venita, I'm sure, can attest to like the power of Instagram. But I don't have very much experience with a lot of marketing, just because our challenge right now has just been being able to meet the demand. So we don't do a lot of.
Ooh, must be nice, TJ.
Girl.
You got too much
What a
business.
problem to have.
Well,
You got too much business. I was gonna come by, TJ, but I see y'all don't have
we
space.
can only we can only
Get my
service
massage
so
seat
many
somewhere.
people.
Yeah,
We
I'm gonna get
can
my
only-
massage somewhere else. It's okay. No, that's exciting. I'm just like so proud of TJ, so happy for her. It's just crazy that, like, talking about the informal networking, like, I think TJ, didn't we meet at 36 degrees?
36, yes. And I met you, and we were sitting in the booth, and you showed me your S tattoo, and you were telling me all about silhouette. And I thought it was so cool and so dope, even though I couldn't really understand it. I just appreciated the passion. I don't know sneakers.
She was like Alicia. She was like sneakerhead.
Sneakerhead.
No, but I mean, it's just, man, this journey is so fun. It's just like, I don't know, it's like being in a big class, and you get to grow alongside your classmates and, see how they succeed. So
Can't wait for you to sign my yearbook.
I know, girl. I signed. Look, people used to line up for my signings.
Yes.
Go all in.
I know. It's gonna be some good stuff in there.
Well, I think,
Now I don't even remember what you asked.
Oh, I was asking about marketing.
Advertising.
Oh, yes. Yeah. We're really lucky. I'm really lucky that my concept is so Instagram friendly and social media friendly, and that people already expect content like mine to be on Instagram. And then I have a great phone on my camera. And, I love the community that we've built. We post something every day. We share stories, we engage. One of the pro tips that I got from someone in the sneaker industry early on is that, you should respond to people on Instagram. Like when they post a comment on a post of yours, like, you should respond, like what they, just keep engaged. Don't put up this like wall between you and your
Yeah.
customers, as if you're not a real person. I think that's the beauty of, you know, where we are as a business in Tulsa, where we are just as a city, is that we can create spaces that feel really authentic and that really engage, you know, directly with the community. So yeah, no, we do a lot of social media marketing for sure. And another big way for us to get the word out about us is we do events here. Um, and so, you know, through doing events, you know, the musical artists, whoever it is that's, you know, doing the event, they share with their networks. We get people in here who, you know, maybe wouldn't have found out about us because they weren't looking for sneakers through social media, but now they come in and they're like, oh, I love the space. It's a great vibe. Like, oh, and you guys have sneakers. Let me look at these sneakers. And so, um, yeah, there's a lot of that.
I think that's awesome. There, I think also that the Tulsa community in the Greenwood area, what is your perception of having made that? How did you arrive at the decision that you would be in the Greenwood area, especially knowing the history of historic Greenwood
Yeah.
or Black Wall Street?
I mean, certainly I was attracted to the history. You know, I'm a very purpose-driven person, and you know, following in the footsteps of, you know, Black entrepreneurs uh, before me, and the incredible legacy that they established, obviously is like a motivating force for me. And then, you know, I think the biggest thing was, uh, you know, like Greenwood, first of all, sadly, there aren't a lot of commercial spaces available to lease. Um, and uh, and so, you know, just because you might want to be in a place doesn't mean you're going to be able to be there. The opportunity might not exist. Luckily, this opportunity did exist. It wasn't actually my first. I wanted to be in one of the brick buildings owned by the Greenwood Chamber, but they never responded to me. And so I ended up coming over here, switching up my concept just a little bit to modernize it just a little bit more for this space. But yeah, for sure, I love being here. I think Greenwood is such an interesting place. The commercial area is so small, and yet the ramifications of the decisions that are made down here are so big relative to the actual size of the economy here. And I think that so many of the remnants of past events, the massacre, urban renewal, just, you know, everything that has been done to further marginalize and strip a community of resources, of confidence. I just feel like those things are so apparent in how fractured things are here. It's I don't really like politics like that, you know. And I think you know, part of it is that these things are surfacing now because of the centennial, and like it's being more and more surfaced, like all these media outlets, especially nationally, you know, they're asking really difficult questions. So, you know, 99% of the time I love being here. 1% of the time I'm like, oh, the politics of this area. Like I just want to be able to come in, talk sneakers, sell sneakers, and buy some sneakers, you know. But that's what I signed up for.
Yeah. TJ?
For me, well, I'm not actually physically in the Greenwood area, but I think that the spirit of Greenwood really just lives on in the heart of entrepreneurs and the network and the relationships. And so I feel like I am on Greenwood when I go to Fulton Street, whenever I'm having a coffee with friends um, and feel that spirit of entrepreneurship. So, but I can't speak directly to Greenwood.
Are you near the area?
Yeah, I am downtown. I
Yes,
am.
you're in the downtown area. You're not that far from Silhouette Sneakers, are you?
No, I walk over there. We're a walking
Okay,
distance.
so
We're neighbors.
you're in
Yeah.
the Greenwood area. You're in that area. I don't know the limitations of the district per se, but you're there in that area. And
Yeah,
so it's good to see African American entrepreneurs in that area.
absolutely.
Yeah, so we appreciate that you're there and the work that you do. It was really good. Venita, we saw you got a big donation of someone purchasing all your inventory. That was
You know, it's funny. I feel like that was almost a bigger story in Tulsa in 2020 than the pandemic. You know, is Pastor Mike Todd of Transformation Church coming and buying all of our sneakers.
that's
Yeah, no, I mean, that was an incredible gift to end, obviously, like a turbulent year. And, you know, awesome for the kids for sure. Uh, I'm trying to, you know, establish a relationship with the boys' home to try to get those boys down here. I think we're going to be able to achieve that. But yeah, no, I mean, it was incredible. And, you know, Tulsa is a very religious community. And so, you know, it definitely put us on a lot of radars that Pastor Todd came through. He's like a celebrity. It's so funny. We have like, you know, movie stars who come into the store. And the other day, this family came in and they were like, you know, has it, do celebrities come in here? And I name dropped one, Jesse Eisenberg, who played in The Social Network and Zombieland. And, you know, he's like a big deal to a lot of people. And the family was like, hmm? And then I was like, well, Mike Todd was here. And they're like, oh my God, Mike Todd was here.
and I think that's awesome. And TJ, I know your business is doing well. And I'm glad that, but you are able to meet the demand. We know that you know you're glad that the customers are coming in and you're meeting that demand and you're providing that needed service in the community. So we really appreciate that. Nick, was there more that you wanted to share regarding the resources available from the library or otherwise?
I believe that concludes my presentation. Like I said, here's an external resource list. I'm happy to email this out to anyone that wants to drop their email address in the chat. We did have a question from the chat from Monique. She said that she's a business owner in another state. She wondered if anyone had experience transferring a business or moving a business. No.
No.
Has anyone thought about expanding and opening a second location?
Not out of state for me.
Okay, yeah.
Well, Nick, if there is information that is required in that area, can you?
Yeah,
is
I'm
there
happy.
Information from the Tulsa City County Library
Sure.
that can be made available for those purposes, and you may share what our website is and etc.
Yeah, I'm happy to follow up with Monique. As I said, our website, tulsalibrary.org, and if you go to research, and then you'll see business resources and then databases. Those will kind of be your two different portals to some of the resources that we share with our customers, as well as some of the experience and expertise that we can help people with. We do consulting work. The Research Wizard is a fee-based consulting service wing of our department, but I've helped with marketing and branding and other business related activities just as part of a regular free service at the library. So if you're interested in learning more about the assistance and information that we can provide, you can visit the business resource page or contact us at the research center, the main number, and then just ask for the research center.
Okay. All right, ladies, if each of you would like to make party comments or advice or tell us where your shop is, you certainly may. And we would love to know, a little bit about each one of your businesses, starting with TJ, your
Sure.
business. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit, just a little blurb about that.
So Poppi's is located downtown. We are at 3rd and Frankfurt, just directly west of the Box Yard. We are a full service spa and lounge, and we offer everything from skincare services to massage and body services, waxing, hair removals. We also are a venue. We host private events, parties. So if you want to learn more, just visit us at tulsapoppi.com. And thank you guys for having me.
Thank you. Venita?
My business is Silhouette Sneakers and Art. We are a limited edition sneaker boutique and apparel. We sell apparel, vintage clothes, local brands. Greenwood Ave is a very popular brand that we carry, Fire in Little Africa. And we're also an art gallery. We currently have an exhibit called Massacre, where I collaborated with a local photographer to reshoot some of the iconic images from Black Wall Street in the early 1900s through the massacre, to draw parallels between then and now, and also to, inspire questions about how far we've come and how far we still have to go. The sneakers, I could talk all day about them. We carry Jordans, Yeezys. I know Alicia's coming in for some Yeezys soon. Nick too. No, he looks more like a Jordan man.
I got some J's.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. We love having people come through. Definitely pull up. We're at the corner of Greenwood and Archer, across from Driller Stadium. We got a lot of really fun things coming up this summer, so definitely stop by.
All right. And I thank you for giving me the term sneakerhead. My son had a sneaker Jones. We called it a Jones back then. So what can I say? He had a sneaker Jones from high school up until now when he's in his 40s.
Now, this is recording. Everybody heard me tell Alicia earlier not to say sneakerhead in public.
Not to use it.
So if she says it, it's not because I told her to say it.
Yeah, you don't have to worry. I just had never heard it. So, but I thank you for meeting that need in our community. People love sneakers, and so that's fine. They love those shoes. Nicholas, thank you. Do you want to say any parting words?
No, just thanks for joining us, and for anyone who wants to, again, probably 4th time I've said it, anyone who needs the slides, drop your email in the chat and I will email them this evening.
And I hope, Venita, you have special extended sizes for my grandsons who have feet. Yes, so we'll talk.
We'll talk.
Okay, then. Thank you so much. And we thank you for joining us for our program. The library is at www.tulsalibrary.org. You can dial 918-549-7323, our Ask Us hotline. And you can always say, I just want to talk to Nick Abrahamson about business and about research on my business model. Okay, thank you so much. We wish you well with all of your endeavors.